Malta is a land of surprises and a feast for the eyes. With stunning beaches, great resorts, quaint villages, cool wildlife, friendly locals, fantastic food, 7,000 years of history, and surprises around every corner. So stretch out, relax, and enjoy the ride. As Kids Eye View takes you to the Maltese Islands and shows you how to make it Malta. We're a real Texas family discovering our world, one destination at a time. I'm Delaney. Culture and history are my specialties. What's the German word for?
I'm Nikki, and I bring the fun.
This is Paris!
It's a clue!
And I'm their mom, Jeannie, with trip tips for parents.
I think it's time for some adult flavors.
We explore around the globe and in our own Texas backyard to help families make culture and history their story. Malta is a tiny independent nation in the Mediterranean. It's just below the Italian island of Sicily and the eastern tip of Africa. Malta is made up of 3 islands, Malta, Camino, and Gozo. We take an overnight flight across the pond, connect in Paris, and land in the sunny Maltese Islands the next afternoon. We land in the capital city of Valletta and grab our bags. In Malta, they drive on the opposite side of the road like they do in the UK. Driving through these tiny villages can be a little scary. For this trip, we'll hire local drivers to take us around their hometown. It's much safer and we can relax and enjoy the view. First stop, let's head to one of Malta's famous attractions for families on the northwest side of the island. Popeye Village is a real place built for a legendary comic book hero. Brought to life by author E.C. Seeger when he was just 22 years old, our hero's favorite food is spinach and has a crush on one gangly lady named Olive Oil, with a friend named Wimpy who loves hamburgers.
Welcome. Want a burger? Did you already eat? Got us something to eat.
Welcome to Popeye's Village. This is me, Captain Pluto, the legend. And this is well, you know him as well, Popeye the Sailor.
In 1979, Hollywood built a film set here for the making of the movie Popeye starring Robin Williams. Marketing director Joseph Borg tells us the real story behind Popeye.
It was actually created in 1930s for children to eat something healthy. Because everyone was eating non-healthy stuff and we wanted to feed children vegetables and fruit. So that's why the whole story behind Popeye was a very short person, all right, to eat spinach and buy spinach and other vegetables to get himself very strong. All right, that's how it was created. It started off as a comic. You know what a comic is, like a comic book. All right, and then it was developed into cartoons in 1960s. All right, and then in 1979, Walt Disney and Paramount came up with this creation to make cartoons into a movie. So what they did, they were looking for a place in the sun where it's sheltered, and the options were either the Caribbean or Malta. And lucky for us, they chose Malta. All right. In 1979, they started building the set, and in 1980 they shot the movie. Something very interesting is that this film set is now 35 years old, and it is the only film set in Europe that is still as it was, so original, authentic film set as it was in 1980.
The set was built on these rocky cliffs in 7 months in a protected cove. You may also recognize it as one of the locations from the film Gladiator, which was also shot in this beautiful bay. The buildings are painted twice a year, but still made to look like an old fishing village. It's open to the public to come out and live like a sailor. Just make sure you bring your parents. For details on Popeye Village, visit our website at kidseyeview.com and click the Trip Tips tab. In the afternoon, we take a drive up to the walled medieval city of Mdina. Malta's landscape is filled with history and secrets waiting to be discovered, and Mdina is one of them.
First stop, Tourist Information Office. The history of Mdina dates back more than 4,000 years. At night, it's lamplit. This is where many of Malta's wealthiest families lived in the past and even today. Impressive palaces and churches can be found on the narrow streets, which have a beautiful mix of medieval and Baroque architecture, and aptly named pregnant windows. Hand-painted signs and floral touches hidden in beautiful alleyways. Mdina has its dark side. Below the city are dungeons used in medieval times, and you can take a tour. But get there before 4 p.m. We missed it. They call Mdina the Silent City. Shh, let's go. Trying to find directions in the late afternoon can be challenging. Excuse me, can you tell me where the palace is? I like your chainmail. Where did you get it? Hello? Hello? Can you tell me where the cathedral is? Hello? You can also take a horse-drawn carriage through its winding streets. It makes for a wonderful afternoon of exploring, shopping, and enjoying the view from inside the city. Don't miss dinner on one of Mdina's most famous terraces, the Fontanella Tea Garden. A little more exploring, and we find it. Just look for the creepy kid that guards the gate. The tea garden gets its name from the 17th century Baroque fountain found inside. They're famous for their cake and for the view. Before we dig into dessert, we try some local favorites. This is pasticci, a local pastry filled with ricotta cheese. The meat pie is a must. Finally, onto the chocolate cake. I'm not supposed to talk with my mouth full, but I can't resist licking my fingers. It's so good. Time for a little play on the way back out as we reenact the city's medieval past and say goodbye to a really cool afternoon in the silent city of Mdina.
Our next day in Malta, we hire a private local guide, Clive Cordes, to discover the history of his hometown of Valletta, Malta's capital city.
First of all, welcome to Valletta. You're welcome. Valletta is the capital city of Malta, which was built in the 16th century, exactly in 1566. And Valletta, it's a peninsula, so it's like a finger, having a harbour on each side, the harbour of Slima St. Julius on the left, and then we have the Grand Harbour on the right. We're going to see it later on from Baraka Gardens, and it's a fortified city.
Private guides like Clive give the site's context and share local information beyond guidebooks. Their reasonable fees are well worth the enrichment they bring to your adventure.
Is that the Maltese flag?
That's one of the flags. That's of the Order of St. John, the 8-pointed cross of Malta. That was the main symbol which was used by the Knights of St. John. But today we still use it, and it is used on ships which registered in Malta. In fact, all the ships that are registered in Malta, on the backside, they will have that kind of flag. And that's the flag of the Knights. So red background and the 8-pointed cross. The official Maltese flag, it's white and red and the cross. It's called the George Cross, which is very special for us.
This really is some view.
It is. In fact, we are in Baraka Gardens. And from these gardens, one can enjoy a nice view, one of the best panoramic views of the Grand Harbour of Malta. I said that gardens were prohibited inside the city, but then the Knights of St. John built gardens for their own sake, for their own leisure time. And from this terrace, one can enjoy, as you have just stated, a very fantastic view of the Grand Harbour of Malta. The Grand Harbour of Malta is a natural harbour. We have various inlets, fortified cities. In fact, just the fortified city in front of us, next to those super yachts, it's called Victoriosa. And that's where the Knights defeated the Turks in 1565. In fact, that's why they named the city Victoriosa, which means victorious. The victorious city that defeated the Turks in 1565. Today, you have yachts and super yachts. In fact, yachting in Malta, it's very popular, being that we are surrounded with this beautiful crystal clear blue sea. And here we have the saluting battery, which was used in the past to salute important naval ships sailing in the harbor. But then, every day at noon, they used to fire the middle gun, so that the sailors could synchronize their time perfectly at noon. We still do it today.
So I've also heard that there's a lot of movies that have been shot in Malta.
That's right, and one of them is called The Gladiator, Russell Crowe. In fact, the whole film set was built in Fort Ricasoli, just at the entrance of the harbor. And not only Gladiator, Captain Phillips was shot here, World War Z, Troy, Helen of Troy, Cutthroat Island, By the Sea, Munich of Steven Spielberg, Mu 571.
Back in the city center, we were curious about these pregnant windows.
So why are the windows curved like this?
Those are called here in Malta as the pregnant windows. That's how we refer to them. So all the owners of houses and palaces would like to have that kind of window are called the pregnant windows. And they are in that shape so that you can open the window and you can still have a look there in the street. But still you have that iron grid window there to protect life. Right now we're going to visit St. John's Cathedral, which is the main church which was built by the Knights of St. John way back in the 16th century. Before we walk in, have a look at the floor over here. That's a marble tombstone and it's written in Latin, "He who steps over me, one day will be stepped over." Shall we go and visit? Let's go. Don't step on it.
Malta has over 365 Roman Catholic churches, like this one, which depicts a life of St. John the Baptist in 1660. And 400 marble tombstones of knights, each with a different message to visitors.
My hour arrived. Yours soon.
Time to move on to something that'll make us a little happier. Lunch and some shopping.
Right, so after a well-deserved lunch, we are going towards the falconry. So that's about 25 minutes drive away from Valletta. We're going towards Sigiwi.
The Malta Falconry Center is run by Doreen Sklikuna, who cares for many species of birds in addition to Maltese falcons.
including several species of owls with names like Potter and Tinkerbell.
How old is she?
1 year.
1 year.
But when that one is the full size, huh?
Meet Hannah Montana, Beauty, and Dexter.
What easy life they have.
This little guy will grow up to be a vulture just like Lurch. And these beautiful babies will turn into birds of prey.
That was amazing. We're off to see Malta's 5,000-year-old temples at Hyjar-Im and Amnidra. These temples look like the Flintstones houses, but when you look closer, you realize how the primitive people who built them left clues for future generations. So what was the purpose of these temples?
Now, these temples, the main purpose was to gather the community around, okay? And as well, we discovered in various temples that they used to sacrifice animals inside, and as well to convey a message, you know, of their own culture or of their own, call it, religion. Okay? And the message was conveyed by means of symbols carved in stone. We discovered the symbols of animals, horned goats, sheep, pigs, the bull. So all these symbols might relate themselves to the food produced in the area.
We head down the walking path to check out the second temple, Amnidra, which is a perfect calendar for the sun.
This is called Amnidra. We've just been to Hyjar-Im. We went down the hill, and the Amnidra temple shows the 4 seasons from the same dawn. So what happens is quite, we say easy today, but it's 5,000 years old. 21st of December, winter starts, the sun passes diagonally through the door, and it's directed to the edge of this stone slab over here, just on the edge of it. Then, 21st of March, spring, equinox, the sun passes perfectly in the middle, through the corridor over here. After 21st of March, summer starts, 21st of June, so the sun will pass through the doorway, diagonal, and hits the edge perfectly over here. And then after that it will be 21st of September, another equinox. The sun passes perfectly in the middle over here. So this is a perfect sun color. So what happens is that the sun from 21st of December, you could see it moving. So December, January, February, March, April, May, June, and then it starts going back. June, July, August, September, October, November, December.
It's amazing to see for yourself. For information on the Hajar Eamon and Niger temples, visit our website. The next day, it's time to hit the beach and head to the northern island of Gozo, which means a trip across the ocean on a huge ferry. Straight ahead is the island of Camino. Only 3 people live there. Gozo is a quaint island with lots of little villages and great beaches.
So, welcome to Gozo. We are going to spend sightseeing, the whole day sightseeing here. We're going to start by visiting the Ala Belvedere, and then down to the Calypso Cave, Salt Pans, Azure Window, nice lunch at Shlendi with a perfect, nice sunny day. Well, this is one of the most popular sandy beaches we have in Gozo. It's called Ramla El Hamra, which means Ramla, it's a sandy beach, and Hamra, it refers to the color because the sand is quite a bit red. And in fact, literally, it means the red sandy beach, Ramla El Hamra. What's so special is that it's at the end of a valley, and it's still in its natural state.
After a quick dip in the clear water, we head over to the salt pans, where they farm salt from the sea. We meet Josephine, the daughter of the famous salt man, Mr. Cheney. How do you get the salt out of the ocean?
So here, as you can see, we have got about 12 big pools and about 350 square pans from where we harvest the salt. So we pump the water from the big basins to the small ones with the motor pump. Nowadays we use a motor pump. In ancient days they used the pulley and the bucket, and there are the channels carved in the rocks, and the water ran through them. We fill them up from the big basins because the water there, it's still water, it's highly concentrated. So the evaporation occurs easily. Within 7 days, the water evaporates and the salt remains in the small squares, and we will be able to extract it.
Driving through these close-packed towns give you a feel for the local life and culture of Malta. Malta's many villages are heavily Roman Catholic, and each one celebrates a different saint.
Time for lunch in the beautiful seaside village of Shlendi. At one of the best local restaurants for traditional Gozitan cuisine. From the looks of it, you can tell everything's going to be fresh. While we look over the menu, Clive gives us a lesson in the Maltese language, a mix of Italian, Arabic, and English.
Thank you.
Grazie.
Welcome. Like, welcome. How do you say welcome?
Saha.
Wihat. Tanay.
Klieta.
Kleta.
Erba.
Erba.
Hamsa.
Hamsa.
Sitta.
Sita.
Seba.
Seba.
Tmilia.
Tmilia.
Disa.
Disa.
Ashara.
Asra.
Just in time, the feast arrives.
Okay.
Fried rabbit with garlic finished in white wine sauce.
The best way to eat rabbit is the Gozo way, which means by hands.
By hand.
Okay.
Sliced beef, filled with minced pork.
Rabbits too.
It's gonna be.
We need a place like this in Houston.
I love rabbit.
Our final stop in Malta has us driving through the countryside of Gozo with the wind in our hair. Welcome to the Azure Window. It's a natural stone arch and a popular site for snorkeling. It's also a great place to carefully explore the lunar landscape along the cliffs before hopping the ferry back to Malta.
We had a great day in Gozo. Saha! We're a real Texas family exploring our world, one road trip at a time. It's beautiful out here. Hello? If there's a city, a beach, or a country road, Kids Eye View is going to explore it. 3D, moving seats, water spray.
Kids can do anything.
Kids Eye View is driven by Land Rover Houston Central. Where will your Land Rover take you next? The Maltese Islands are a great place for families with friendly locals and incredible culture. To plan a trip just like ours, go to our website at kidseyeview.com and contact us.
Kids Eye View is all about real world and real fun. We want to hear from you. What's on your travel bucket list?
Claire, if you could go to any island in the world, where would it be and why?
I would go to Fiji because it has beautiful crystal clear waters and beautiful seashells.
If you could bring one thing with you, what would it be?
Probably my swimsuit.
I would go to Ibiza because I went to Barcelona this summer, and Ibiza is supposed to be the same except more party all the time.
Do you know any Spanish?
Solo un poquito.
Well, I don't know where I'm going, just like the rest of you. We'll stay afloat in this here boat and walk in the same shoes. Well, I know I'm not your neighbor, but you can call me friend. Yeah.